Yo, yo, what's crack-a-lackin' team? How we doing? How we doing? Back with another watch list for Friday, last day of the week, March 7th. So, let's get into it. Zooming out here, you can still see overall markets still in choppy sideways. Um, Basically, like, it doesn't even... there's just uncertainty. It doesn't. Let me show this off here. There's just uncertainty. Stuff like tariffs, for example, where are there gonna be tariffs for Canada and Mexico? Aren't there? This whole Bitcoin, digital currency reserve, all this stuff. Just make a decision. Basically, tariffs are a big one. It doesn't really matter so much what the outcome is, just the fact that there is an outcome and not just all this back and forth, and that will help markets. So until that happens, there's going to be a bunch of chop on these larger cap names. Palantir, nice steady sell off today, going in the same channel, up near 90, down near 80. And until it breaks out of that, it's still very range bound. Turner, I had traded a bit in this count. They had a PR today, and zooming out, you can see these lower highs. Volume started to pick up today compared to the prior days. You get this little perk. So I had started in early. Let's go to something like this. I had started in early using like 210s as a guide. And then once we got this bottoming action, I started to add and risk on lows and ended up getting stopped out there. So I took a little loss. But it's still holding up. It's such a choppy name, the way that it trends. So nothing I'm super stoked about, and then we got the news this evening regarding the Bitcoin reserve. And the reaction to it was negative. So Bitcoin names, Master, Coin, Mara, Riot, Clask, all of those, right when the news hit, gets sold off hard. Master has been my main vehicle in not just Bitcoin, but in like these, it's been the cleanest for me, given where it is and how it's acting in its daily chart pattern. So I'm not 100% sure how I want to trade it. I have a bit of an innate bias that I just want to short this thing to zero. Because it looks like we're in this sort of stage where it's gone on its massive run. We've pulled back, chopping, and whether we're here or here, I don't know. But it does eventually round trip. So I do kind of see that happening with Master again, where we round trip. But just a matter of what it does between now and then, I'm not sure. But given the Bitcoin news, it's going to be gapping down quite a bit tomorrow. So any risk levels are going to be super far away, closing at like 305, 306, and now gapping into the 280s. So it'll be down like 10% by market open. So getting a proper risk level will be tough. I do think that this could easily retrace back to these 230s, 240s. But again, I'm going to need some sort of proper risk. I'm not just going to short it because I have a bias and force a bias. If a setup doesn't present itself, then I'll just leave it be. And MSTZ, this one's got super good range. So if you like cheaper names and steady trends, this could be something you look at with Master. ARB did absolutely nothing today. GV, basically exactly what we were looking for. What I wanted was a 70% plus gap, and that's what we got. And then right here off the open, consolidation, pop right into pre-market highs, get stuffed, and once these 620s fail to follow through, then that's game on. All pops should act heavy, and this thing faded pretty good. Didn't go red, and still up from the 1s up to 7. So any pops back into prior day's resistance, I like as a short. If we get gap ups, I'd use like this bounce range in the 520 range as a guide. If we're gapping down, I'm going to be using pops versus red to green. And I think that there's a possibility where this goes 270s, 280s tomorrow. So I like that for a first red day setup. TNXP, multi-day runner, volume really starting to come in. Prior close 780, the low was 8.1. Prior close 1096, low was 1080. Briefly went red today, probably just where it opened. Yeah, so it doesn't really matter. So it likes to respect its green to red levels the past 3 days. You see volume starting to come in, and the range of these daily candles starting to speed up. See some parabolic action, hard crack, now looking at lower highs. Would be using 15 as a guide if we get an open right around here. These 15, 16 level. And if we're red, I like that on pops as well. So I like GV and TNXP as my main two possible first red days. Finally, some small cap setups presenting themselves. And then PSTV, I think this is going to be the same setup as GV was today, with this one going into tomorrow. This one's up 500%. Close was right around here. This red line in the 150s went as high as 260. So it's already up 60 cents on a $1.50 is, what is that? 60 cents on a $1.50 is a little less than 50%. We're at like 40% or so. So ideally, this gaps up bigger, like GV did, where you get it to squeeze out here in after hours, relatively flat close, and then you get the massive move in pre-market. So ideally, that's what happens here. You get a big move in after hours, closes sideways. Ideally, we get like a 3+, and can look for an overextension gap up on that one. Golan, what's going on? Chris, how's it going? AVGO broke my heart today when I took it at 180. Didn't want to hold into earnings. Jeff, how's it going? Luke, what's up? AVGO. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's ever a good idea to hold through earnings unless you've got like a longer term view. If you're planning to hold this, if you're buying at a discount and planning to hold it for 30 years, then sure, hold through every earnings that comes out. But if you're a day trader just buying a dip, I don't think it's ever a good idea to hold through earnings. It just as easily, you could have bought at 180, sold into after hours. This thing could have been down at 150, and you would have been thankful that you sold it. So you made the best decision you could in the moment with the information you were given. And if the opposite reaction happened to the earnings, then we wouldn't be having this conversation. So no problems there. Oh man, if you're holding for a couple years, so that was a rule break for sure. Doesn't matter what happens today, tomorrow, if you're going to hold it for 2 or 3 years. Warren Buffett always says if you own your house, you bought it for $1 million, and someone comes, you bought it yesterday for $1 million, someone comes and knocks at your door and says, hey, I'll give you 900 grand. Are you going to take it? No, because your house is worth $1 million. You just spent $1 million on it. So it's the same for a business. When you're buying businesses, you bought it at $1.80, $180 a share, and somebody is now offering $200. Doesn't matter, in 10 minutes, that you bought it for 180 and someone is now offering you $200 for those shares, that's not what you're in it for. Whether they're offering you less or they're offering you more, you're buying pieces of businesses. VSTM. Too illiquid. 2 million shares traded on the day. Not an in-play name. Definitely not in a market to be speculative either. My watches are Master and MSTZ if they offer a setup with Bitcoin. And then GV, TNXP, my top two. And then PSTV if it gaps up enough for an overextension short. So finally an evening where I can put a watch list together and have some conviction in what I'm trading. So looking forward to trading tomorrow. Alrighty, what do you guys say? Keep it short and sweet? What do you think? I'm good leaving it there. What do you guys think? I'll give it a couple minutes. Sounds good. Golan's all for it. Did some review, answered a couple questions, made a watch list. What else do we need? Sounds good. Alrighty. Thank you guys for tuning in. Trading well tomorrow. Friday. Those of you in IU, I will see you in the room. Feel free to join up. I think it's a great service they're providing over there. And if you're not in the room, then I will see you Sunday evening for another watch list for next week. Alrighty, take it easy, guys. Trade them well. Peace.